mission of police officers is to prevent crime and save lives. We want to protect people from being harmed.
Hey, Patrolfinder, start patrol.
What zone would you like to patrol?
Patrolfinder is going to give command officers information that right now they just don't have at their disposal. They're going to be able to look up and see where officers have been and how often they've been there.
It's definitely a new way of looking at things.
916.
916.
So right now we're actually coming up on an attention point.
Copy.
I know that because the app tells me, and there's a little yellow spot here by the patrol point. This particular attention point is where stolen cars are frequently dumped. So I'm going to just take a ride by here and just see if there's any cars that are out of the ordinary, maybe left running with the doors open, anything like that.
File 1
And find out if they may
recovered
actually in fact be stolen.
Plates in T 500 feet southwest.
So the mission of police officers is to prevent crime and save lives.
Show me headed to the station for a warrant packet. Female's gonna come down to the station.
Residents want to know that they're being policed in an equitable manner.
Copy.
They want to make sure that they are being policed, but they're not being over-policed.
937.
37, go ahead.
Using Patrolfinder, police officers and command officers will make sure that neighborhoods that need more policing will get it. And they will also make sure that the more stable neighborhoods do get the presence of the police, just not as often as potentially the neighborhoods that need it more due to high crime.
937, we were told last seen on Albany Street turning onto Swan Street towards State.
We're in the city of Schenectady. It's a fairly small city geographically, but there's a lot of residents. We're very busy with calls for service and handling so many calls that we may not know what we patrolled in our downtime on a day-to-day basis.
Right now it's just a printed list. There's no map, there's just addresses and a brief description of what's going on. The officers can't visualize that, they can only just read it, they have to remember it. When they leave the station, they go out on patrol. Okay. If they didn't write down what was said to them, they won't retain that.
And while I'm using Patrolfinder, it's good to look at the points. It's good that they're color-coded. I can see where I've been, I can see where I haven't been, and I can also see different attention points that other officers want me to look at, and I can add things that I want them to look at. That way we can share information with each other. Kind of takes away a little bit of the redundancy of the patrol and keeps us efficient in doing our jobs from shift to shift and from day to day.
All right, so these points here are areas where an officer is not gone in approximately 24 hours. There's many other points within the city that officers have been to, and they're actually not visible because they are disappeared.
Patrol point within the app is basically every city block has its own patrol point on it. And depending on the color of that patrol point will indicate whether it's been patrolled or hasn't been patrolled or passed in the goal time.
Patrolfinder is going to give command officers information that right now they just don't have at their disposal. They're going to be able to look up and see where officers have been and how often they've been there.
So if you see the dots behind me, this represents areas that have not been patrolled yet. And when an officer first gets on their shift, they'll know these are the areas that they need to go.
Using data on both on the crime end and on the allocation of resources end, which they will get through Patrolfinder, they will better be able to make those managerial decisions on their staff and their personnel.
Here's a list of all of our different patrol sessions in the city. These are all the times that the officers have gone out on patrol.
We're going to be able to layer over police operations with crime data so we can see where our weaknesses are and where our strengths are.
Hey, Patrolfinder, start patrol.
What zone would you like to patrol?
A lot of the officers we're hiring now, they've grown up on technology.
Okay, starting patrol in Zone 2 Bellevue.
So I think that having that cutting edge and the best technology here at Schenectady Police Department will make our department more desirable for people to work.
It seems like the criminals are using technology faster than we are keeping up with it. It's high time for us to actually use technology to do a better job than they are.